Oops goes the spoon. It's all good fun. Hiya, welcome back to my channel. It's Wendy here from Toonpish Crafts and I hope you're doing okay. Today is the 3,000 subscriber giveaway. Yay! Thank you so much for subscribing. Thank you for watching my videos. Without you, I wouldn't have got here. Anyway, it's been about 2 weeks since I announced that I was going to do this. It's taken me a little while. I've had other things going on. So I got there eventually. I'm doing the video to show you how these items were made. I hope you enjoy it. At some point during the video, you will see what you have to do to enter this giveaway. I hope that's clear. It will be somewhere in the video. I'll come back at the end and show you the items that I've made. I hope you enjoy it. So I always start my pen blanks with a blank tile, and this fits in my pressure pot. I have some contact paper or sticky back plastic, as we like to call it, and I'm going to cut roughly to size, like you would covering a book. Do you remember covering a book at school? Well, I don't know if they do that these days, but we used to. We was at school, cover our books with sticky back plastic. So I've cut larger than the tile, and I'm just going to lay it on the top and get all the air out, or as much as possible. Now I use sticky back plastic. I have tried plastic before and just stuck plastic, but it tends to warp with the heat of the resin. Sticky back plastic doesn't, because it's stuck to the surface. So once I've got all the bubbles out the front, I turn it over and stick it down, because it doesn't stick to the back of the tile. Back of the tile is a different surface texture and it won't stick. When I'm happy with that, I'm going to get some plexiglass or acrylic sheet. This is 2mm. Now 2mm is actually a little too thick. Yeah, 1.5 would have been perfect. So I'm cutting it to about 5 inches. But what I do is I score it both sides, make sure I get through as much as I can with a Stanley knife, and then snap it. It's a little tough, but it gives a beautiful clean cut. So now I've got my 4 sides, I'm going to make sure I take off all the plastic film that is covering it. Satisfying sound, that. Now I'm going to use pieces of sellotape to secure the corners. I'm doing it flat on the surface to make sure that everything is flat, so that when I come to put it on a tile, it's all very flat on the tile. The last thing you want is a wobbly mould. And as it's going on a completely flat surface, it does need to be completely flat. If you line up each corner with the previous acrylic piece, you can get it into a perfect square, more or less. So once I have my flat acrylic square, it's time to hot glue it to the tile. Now I'm just showing you here, I'm doing the corners, but I do go around with a lot of hot glue and it takes a little while. But this is the outcome. All glued round. Now I'm hoping that that is secure, but sometimes it's not, so I do tape it up as well, just to be doubly secure. I do not want resin in my pressure pot. I don't want to ruin my pressure pot, and I have had leaks before, so I not only hot glue it, I tape it, I also put it into an old silicone cake mold as well. Yeah, you can't be too careful. So these are 2 halves of the same piece of Australian Melly Burr that I have cut from a larger piece that I have in the garage. They're about 1 inch thick. And I've got to make sure that they're in the mould where I want them to be. Then I'm going to hot glue them to the base. Now this will stop them floating in the resin. Some people put weights on top of the wood. I don't have big weights because I'm not a weightlifter. So I hot glue them to the base. Works a treat. Now this is another mould that I'm doing on the side. As I'm making one, I might as well make the other. These are all scrap pieces of resin that I've cut to 4x1. I've sanded them down both sides, and I'm just going to make sure they all fit into that area, which they do. I'm using Aluminite clear cast resin. It's my go-to resin for pen blanks. I'm using a big tray mould here because it's about to get very messy, but these are the colours that I will be using. They are Resin Pro Sahara Set Blue, Interference Red from Resin 8 and a Silver White that come from a set from Amazon. I've mixed up the colours, just using the rest of the resin there. And for the strips that I've got in front of us, I'm going to be using just white. The other two will be sitting and getting warm. That's what I want them to do. While I'm waiting for them to warm up, as I'm just using white in this particular mould, I'll do it first. I'm covering each individual strip. This is all pieces of leftover resin. When I've got a little bit left over, I pour it in a mould, and these are just cut strips from those bits of leftover resin. So it's always good to use them. Now, because I've sanded both sides, I know that they'll stick together, and I've already tried them and they fit in this mould. I'm a bit sticky, so I go and clean off, and then I just fill it up with white. And I pop it in the pressure pot. Now this is where I'm checking the temperature of the other bits of resin, sitting waiting for it to warm up. It's quite warm at the moment, but after a while it gets to just over 100 degrees, and that's what I'm looking for. When it gets to over 100 degrees, the colours are not going to merge together. It's actually getting to the point where it's getting really sticky. So I'm ready to pour it into the mould. Quick stir of the white, because that's thicker as it was made in a bigger volume to start with, so it heated up quicker. But I'm going to pour the blue and the red interference together. Now I'm pouring them over each other. They will not merge together. They will keep separated, and that's why I've waited for them to be over 100 degrees. Now you can see when I pour in the white that it is a lot thicker. This is nearly cured. I've just caught it in time. And using up the rest of the resin. Oops goes the spoon. It's all good fun. Making sure I use it all. Now to make this how I want it, I'm going to swirl it slightly with an old paintbrush stick. Just put a couple of patterns in. And that goes into the pressure pot with the other one. So there's the pressure pot, one on top of the other. And I'm filling it with air. It's quite noisy. I'll take it up to about 4 bar. And 24 hours later, I let the air out. Pressure drops. And once I've undone it, there they are, all cured up nicely. And now to unwrap. Now, I'm not going to show you all of this. Obviously, anyone can unwrap something, but there are a few satisfying times and points that I think you'd like to hear. I certainly enjoyed it. Getting the hot glue off was a bit of a pain, mind you, I've got to be honest. I don't like getting hot glue off. Once I've got there, taking the tile off, it's just so satisfying. And even the sticky back plastic came off like a dream. Plexiglass comes off like a dream most of the time. Sometimes it breaks, but generally it's easy to get off. And there's the 2 blanks. They came out really lovely, I think. And then once you cut them up, you've got pen blanks. Now I'm not going to show you the entire process of making a pen or a letter opener, but I did want to give you a brief outline of how I made them. This isn't a pen turning video, this is just to show you how I made the blanks really, and what I did with them at the end. I chose one of the blanks, the middle parts of the pen and the letter opener went on one blank, so I marked it and cut it. Then I needed to sand the inner tubes because the resin has to have something to cling on to. So I sanded them slightly. This is where I messed up really. I should have painted them white or black. That would have been better, but I missed that step. But I'll talk more about that later. Now I've got to drill a hole in the centre of each blank corresponding to the right size for the tube that's going in there. So I've got the right drill bit and I'm drilling the right holes right through the centre. Now I've got to glue the tubes into the blanks with epoxy glue, with 2-part epoxy glue. It's 5-minute glue, it does take a lot longer than 5 minutes though. And now I've got them mounted on the lathe. This is about 6 hours later. Really should have left the glue overnight, but I wanted to get going. And I'm just going to show you a little bit of the turning. Not a great deal, just a little bit. To enter this giveaway for the pen, all you need to do is to write in the comments below, giveaway. You do need to be subscribed to me to enter, but I will be sending this pen to whoever wins with a random comment generator that will only pick out comments that have the word giveaway in them around the world. It doesn't matter where you live. And if you're in the UK, I might even throw in the letter opener as well. So if you haven't subscribed already, consider doing so. It doesn't cost you anything and it does help my channel out. And a thumbs up is always welcome. I really appreciate that too, because that shows YouTube that you like my content and YouTube knows to recommend it to others. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I do cut a lot of things out and I do speed a lot of things up so that it's easy to watch, and I really hope you enjoy that system. I've also started putting music back in, very light on the bottom. Let me know what you think of that. I'm really interested to know your thoughts. So here's the two items that I made, the pen and the letter opener. I think they've come out absolutely beautiful. I love making pens. I do have a thing about pens. I don't know quite why. I'm dyslexic. Maybe that's why. The letter opener has a slight crack in it, but it's wood. And when I put it together, it cracked. Now that won't detract from how beautiful it is. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. If you remember in the video, I said about painting the tubes. Now, because I didn't paint the tubes, you can kind of see a goldy effect through the resin. If I'd have painted it white or if I'd have painted it black, you wouldn't have seen that. You would have seen either white or black. It would have reflected the resin itself. And that was a mistake on my part, but it doesn't detract from how gorgeous these have come out. This is the pen that I will send anywhere in the world for anybody that wins this. If you've seen the video, you know how to enter. The winner will be drawn via random comment generator next Tuesday, that's 25th of January 2022. Good luck to everybody. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll put some stills up at the end. Have a great week and I'll see you again next week. Bye for now.